drop back, and he'll throw that ball out to his receiver, and it's almost intercepted, but then caught again, and open field towards the end zone, and he'll be pushed out of bounds at the 5-yard line.
Play action, drops back to pass, guys in the backfield. He finds Horak in the flat, first down and more. Over the 30, the 25, stays and bounds to the 20, jukes to the 15, to the 10, to the 5, and into the end zone for a touchdown.
Sends a man in motion, he's going to give it. That's Whitaker again. Whitaker makes some guys miss, still on his feet and into the end zone. Touchdown, Valley Forge.
Hello and welcome to Parma Area Community Television's coverage of high school football. As tonight, we bring you the Week 3 matchup, the Parma Redmen taking on the John Marshall Lawyers. I'm Matt Fontana alongside Tim O'Brien. And Tim, the good news about tonight, barring a tie, one of these teams going to get their first victory of the year, while the other one probably going to fall to 0-3 and out of conference. So a lot on the line here tonight.
Yeah, and the most important victory on the year, Matt, is win number 1, and that's what both these two teams are gunning for. If you're Parma, it all starts with their standout quarterback, Kyle Lyon, and on the other side, John Marshall has a little bit more of a balanced attack. They like to move the ball around.
And when you look at these two squads, Parma a little bit bigger, more senior, junior laden, a little bit more experience, and for John Marshall, they're a little bit smaller, and they have a freshman starting tonight.
Not only that, the depth. John Marshall is lacking a little bit of depth, but Parma can run fresh bodies in there. The conditioning is definitely going to be a factor in tonight's game.
It is warm. It is only week 3, so we expect temperatures in the 70s, and conditioning, Tim, this early in the year could play a big factor.
Well, right. I just mentioned the depth, but also, you know, it's a little bit cooler than it was last week in the 90 degrees, so I'm sure the players have liked that.
Well, you are watching the Axelrod Buick GMC pregame show here on Parma Area Community Television. We'll take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to run through the keys and the starters. You're watching high school football on Parma Area Community Television. Welcome back to the Axelrod Buick GMC pregame show here on Parma Area Community Television. Matt Fontana, Tim O'Brien alongside. We're just moments away from the John Marshall Lawyers taking on the Parma Redmen. Tim, let's jump into some of these stats from this game. Last week, a very tough loss for Parma against North Royalton. They tried to come all the way back from a big deficit, just couldn't get it done. And also, John Marshall, they had a tough game versus Harvey.
Yeah, both teams in a really tough game. Parma fought all the way back and just lost 30-22. Harvey, on the other hand, really put the pressure to John Marshall, shutting them out. Last time these two teams played was 2007, a 55-7 win over Parma Senior, and then Kyle Lyon, 2 touchdown passes last week in the 4th quarter.
Yeah, again, Lyon did everything he could with too late, but it just wasn't enough. As we'll take a look quickly now at the starting lineup for the Parma Redmen on offense for head coach Bruce Saban. And you mentioned this quarterback Kyle Lyon, the junior, 6'2", 165 pounds, with the 2 touchdown passes last game. He's really coming into our own. Talked to Coach Saban before the game, and he said Kyle just goes out there and competes, and he's been getting better in the second half. D'Onofrio had a touchdown last week as well. DiDonato had a rushing touchdown. So there's some skill players around Lyon that can get the job done, Tim.
Yeah, and, you know, that's the thing. Lyon does a lot of good things, Matt, but he needs the help. He needs the help of the running game. He needs the help of the pass as really, you know, his receivers and all that.
As we, again, Parma, the home team here, really a great opportunity to get a first win. And you see John Todd there looking to get some D1 offers. He's projected to be a conference lineman of the year, so he's looking to hopefully get some D1 offers. Parma here, of course, at Byers Field. We'll take a look now at the keys to tonight's, or excuse me, the defense now for the Parma Redmen. And again, they gave up 30 points last week to Royalton, but really a lot of solid players on this defense for Coach Saban.
Right, you know, and that's the thing about it is you have a lot of guys who are playing both ways, offense and defense for the Redmen, but they do have a little bit deeper of a team than John Marshall. So John Marshall, you know, will be having a little bit of a tough time here perhaps in the later goings of the game.
As the team's on the field, so we will get the starting lineups for John Marshall and the keys to tonight's game once we get underway. And you see Todd there. He goes both ways. Big kid. He comes in at 6'3", 290 pounds. Parma will receive off to our right. They're in their home gray uniforms with the red lettering and similar color scheme for both these squads as they are red, but John Marshall and they're traveling white with the red trim. Off to our right to take this one, Colin Layden. And I believe that is Nicholas Lord to kick off for John Marshall. It's going to be Joe Victor. And both these teams 0-2 on the season, looking to kickstart their season before they head into conference play. And we are underway from Byers Field. A low line drive squibber picked up here by DiDonato. And he'll take it up over the 40, and that'll give decent starting field position for junior quarterback Kyle Lyon for the Parma Redmen. Take a look now at the starting squad for John Marshall. And again, we're going to see, Tim, a lot of underclassmen, including even a freshman here for John Marshall. And again, they don't have the biggest team. We'll get the starting lineups in just a minute, but not the biggest team and a lot of underclassmen, but that bodes well for the future.
Yeah, and, you know, they're going to get experience really quick, that's for sure.
So Lyon in the shotgun. Lyon back to either side. And he'll fake the handoff to DiDonato and hand this one off to Liveraire to the near side, but a nice open field tackle. Defensive end Jerome Bryant making the stop.
Vinny Livdour, the junior, a 5'7", 160-pound running back. He's a tough runner. You got a lot of guys who are all about speed. Livdour has a lot of speed, Matt, but he also can go between the tackles and has good vision.
You'll see there, they're going to go right to that hurry-up offense that Parma employs, and that's just going to put even more strain on that John Marshall defense. Lions' first pass is complete to the near side, hauling that one in. I believe it was Magda. It was just on a little hitch route. Caught that on the cornerback, Paul Jones. He picked up about 4. It was 2nd and 8, so it should be 3rd and 4 about. They need to make it to the John Marshall 48-yard line there.
Drifton Magda, a guy who is a guy who can really do a lot of things for you as the senior.
And I believe we've got a timeout on the field already, so we'll take it with them. No score. Parma with a 3rd down coming up next on Parma Area Community Television. Timeout on the field for an injured player, and they're making their way over to John Marshall's sideline. Again, Tim, that depth coming into play already. It is awfully hot here at Byers Field. Welcome back to Parma Area Community Television. 3rd down and 4 for the Parma offense. Lyon in the shotgun, and he's going to keep it on the quarterback sneak, and he gets wrapped up, and he's going to get taken down for a loss. Gary Miles, the freshman, starting at linebacker, makes the play. 4th down and decision time for Parma. It was a quarterback read, and you see him there. Gary Miles, the freshman, he ate up the block there and just basically went around DiDonato. That on the block there was Livdour, and he just went around Livdour and made that play. That's an excellent play there from the freshman.
Yeah, and that's probably why he's starting. He's got the nose for that football, Matt, and terrific play by the freshman.
Podlinski's in to punt for Parma. He'll stand at his own 30. Off to the left is Quentin Williams, sophomore. He stands at his own 15. Good snap. Podlinski right foots this one, and we've got a whistle. Timeout.
Tyson the punter? No, I'm kidding. Nope, I think it's a delay of game.
Possibly. Referees haven't spotted the ball yet. I'm not sure what happened. They're spotting it at the 33 where they punted the ball from.
Was it a low snap? Was his knee down?
That's a good question. I didn't see. We might see if we can get a replay on this. Nonetheless, out to play quarterback for the John Marshall Lawyers, senior quarterback Nick Studdard. He is under center with an I formation, and we've got another stoppage in play. We've got a timeout for Parma. So in the past couple plays, it's been very, very interesting when the assistant coach's former head coach here, Robert Sear, the defensive coordinator, out to talk to his defense. John Marshall will head to their sidelines. That'll So our second timeout on the field, we'll take it with them. No score here between Parma and John Marshall. You're watching Parma Area Community Television. Welcome back to Parma Area Community Television. Matt Fontana, Tim O'Brien alongside the John Marshall Lawyers here in Parma to take on the Redmen. John Marshall with their first offensive series, and a pitch out here to the right side, lowering the shoulder was Martino Andrews, the junior running back. He gets taken out of bounds for about a 3-yard gain. The starting offense for John Marshall at quarterback, number 1. Nick started the running back, aforementioned Martino Andrews. Derek Dumas also going to get some carries. At fullbacks, Kevin Nieves up front, Sean Owens, Henry Layboy, just Damon Gill, Skylar Lenz, and Kevin Kelly. And you can also look for Devin Ellis to get some carries at tight end. Also John Artino, one of the wide receivers on the squad. So they give him a gain of 3, 2nd and 7. Just going in motion there is Dumas. Stuttered, going to hand off left side, and a nice job there by the Parma defense to swallow Andrews up. He got hit initially up front. It didn't catch a number, but a nice job to finish off the play there was one of the outstanding linebacker, Troy Duzman. Talked to Coach Saban in pregame, Tim, and he pointed out Duzman as well as fellow linebacker Cody Reef as 2 really important guys on this defense.
And the front 7 for Parma's really, really improved this year, and the front 7 is really what has kept them in both the first 2 games. They had a chance to win them both. Parma, honestly, 1 play in each game, could have swung the other way. They'd be 2-0.
3rd down and 6. They give him a yard gain on that last play, and Starter will turn and hand off to Andrews. Almost fumbled the ball. He's going to try to stretch it out. He stiff-arms his way near a first down, but he gets run out of bounds on that far side. It did not catch a number for Parma. I think Whitus might have been over there, but I'm pretty sure Andrews is going to be about a yard, maybe a yard and a half short. Yep, he will. They're going to mark it at the 23-yard line. He needed to get to the 22. You see, it was a good stiff arm there on Shields, and then it was Whitus who did a nice job of cleaning it up, and it looks like John Marshall, Tim's going to go for it.
Colin Layden also over there on the tackle, but yeah, I mean, 4th and 1, you got to go here.
Wing on the right side, and it's going to be quarterback stuttered, and on that second effort, Tim, I'd be shocked if they don't give it to him.
Well, that's going to be awful close. You look at the far side official who comes in with that spot, it will be a first down.
We'll take a look at it here. They're running right into that teeth of that defensive line with the guys like John Todd at 290 pounds, Granada's 225. I mean, you really got to get a push up there. Santana King's 215. You really got to get a push on these guys, but John Marshall gains the yard that they needed. Coming up on 9 minutes to go here in the first quarter. You get to see a pass from John Marshall. Stuttered again under center. Senior quarterback, and I thought they moved early, but nonetheless, here's Andrew off the right side, but he's going to get swallowed up. I believe that was Sebastian Spear who got him from the backside. Spear actually came up with the football, but they're going to say that he was down. I thought John Marshall moved early, Tim, but Spear did a nice job walking back for a yard loss.
Well, I think not only was there movement on the line, the back in the backfield after he was set looked like he was rocking a little bit as well.
No call on the play. So 2nd down and 12 for the Lawyers. Hailing from John Marshall. I believe John Marshall just got a brand new high school, actually. Deep set for Andrews. They're going to fake the reverse around as here comes Dumas, and he gets wrapped up again. Sebastian Spear, or actually, excuse me, that was not Spear, that was Granada, 42, not 44. Anthony Granada on another play, 2 straight plays, Tim, for John Marshall. They've lost yards.
And obviously that's not what you're trying to draw up here. You might have to see him go to the air here to pick this up.
Going to have to. 3rd down and 13, unless they know they're going to go for it on 4th down. Maybe you try to pick up 6 yards here, but on the past 2 plays, Parma's really sniffed it out of the Lawyers, so you'd have to think that they're going to have to put it in the air for the first time.
Gary, I'm going
Again, I formation. They've gone for pretty much every play, and it looked like the fullback left again. It's going to be a straight keep for Studdard. He's got some room. He's to the 20. He's got to the corner to the 10. Gets leveled out of bounds, but I think he got the first down. A really nice hit by Nick Lord, the safety, but depending on the spot, Tim, I think he picked up 14 when he needed 13. That's a first down for John Marshall.
And terrific play call here when it's said and done. You see the play fake, and then it's just a bootleg out to the near side, and then that side's left wide open. You figured they'd be passing the ball. They call up the QB keeper, and he picks it up.
Yeah, just didn't set the edge there for Parma. One of the defenders on this side chased the ball carrier instead of keeping contained, and then allowed Studdard to get outside. So inside the 10-yard line, first and goal for the John Marshall Lawyers, I should say. And a fumbled ball. The ball's still on the ground. It never looked like Andrews had it. I think Parma got it. They did. So the Redmen forced tonight's first turnover. They hold John Marshall from getting the first score of the game, and they take over for their second drive.
Yeah, and wow, a promising drive for John Marshall that they moved all the way down into the red zone and looked like they had a chance to put some points on the board for sure. That just being their first down run after they just picked up that big first down, and they cough it up to the Redmen.
It looked like Andrews, he almost fumbled one earlier too, Tim. They've had some trouble with that quarterback-running back exchange all night. This time it bites them. I formation for Parma. Line will turn in, hand off to the right side. I think that might have been Duzman on the carry. 22, excuse me. That was Durham. Bryson Durham with his first carry.
Durham, a junior, 5'10", 180 pounds.
As you see John Marshall, they're trying to substitute a lot of players in and out. A lot of their guys play both offense and defense. Second straight carry for Durham. He had a nice hole. Closed up quickly there as Studdard, one of those guys that plays both ways, Tim, the safety making the stop. It's close to a first down, but I think they're marked about a yard short. But John Marshall's coaches are trying to get guys off the field just to get them a rest.
Well, right, it's quick pace. That's what the Redmen, and really, you look at the successful college teams who are doing that. A lot of the high school teams are starting to mimic it. Just quick tempo, get up, try to run as many plays as you can.
Now the referees are really going to help John Marshall because they set the ball. Parma was ready to go. They were fine with calling it 3rd down and 1, but the referee said, you know what, on second thought, we might measure this. So they're going to go get the chains and bring those in. And that helps John Marshall catch a much-needed break. See a lot of guys with their hands on their hips trying to get a break. And it should be short. Yeah, just short. And the nose of the football. So it will be 3rd down and 1. Quick moving first quarter here. 6:19 to go here. Quarter number 1. Again, both these squads 0-2 on the year, so they're looking to get one win before they head into conference play week 4.
Normandy next week for the Redmen.
Already. Battle of Parma. They're a pretty good crowd here on a Thursday night at Byers Field. 3rd down and 1, trying to root the Redmen on. They'll turn and hand to Durham, and he's got the first down by plenty. Nice run by Bryson Durham, the junior. Knew what he needed to get, picked up 4, and that's a first down for Parma. And also running the football like they are, Tim. Parma with a nice run there. You see, that's just wearing even more on John Marshall, wearing them out even further.
Well, the old cliche, you keep with the run, and then eventually you're going to hit them with a pass, and Kyle Lyon is not afraid to throw the ball deep. Kyle, a two-sport athlete, he really worked hard not only in the offseason on football, but his basketball game as well.
And they're going to hand off on the jet sweep. Here comes Nick Lord. He'll cut it back up near the 30 for about a 6-yard gain. And John Marshall, too, Tim, one quick note, they're having trouble getting guys off the field. They're really having to sprint to get over to that far sideline. And Parma's just going to get their play. Somebody had to go pick up a glove, but still, they have to sprint all. Sometimes if they're on the near side, they got to sprint all the way over, and they're almost going to get caught with a 12-man on the field. 2nd down and 4. That's a long 4, and they're going to pitch it here to Durham. He'll stutter step his way to a first down. as Parma, again, just finding these big holes, Tim, and they're just starting to wear. Again, it still is only the first quarter, but I see a John Marshall team that's already a little winded.
Well, that goes back to the depth we talked about. I mean, Parma has quite a few guys who play on both sides of the football, but, John Marshall, they're having a new school open here later on this month, and it's tough right now as far as the quote-unquote recruiting in your own school because you're kind of scattered in a few different buildings, and that's tough when you're trying to make a transition and just trying to get as many players as you can to play.
Second throw, second completion for Kyle Lyon. He gets that one out into the flat as Louis D'Onofrio brings that one in. Somebody lost a helmet on that far side. D'Onofrio, the recipient of a touchdown pass from Lyon last week. And again, you see a nice little bootleg from Lyon, felt the pressure. A nice little comeback there also from D'Onofrio. So 2 for 2 for Kyle Lyon so far early in this game. We're under 4.5 to go here in quarter number 1.
And Louis and Kyle last week, they had some kind of chemistry going in the fourth quarter. Those two made big play after big play.
And a big blitz, and John Marshall's going to bring Lyon down. It was stuttered, the free safety. We've got a flag on the play. It's probably going to go on Big John Todd. He cleaned the pile after, and that's probably going to be a personal foul. So what was bad gets worse for Parma, as stuttered was the one that got the initial pressure. Oh, they're going to go personal foul on John Marshall. We'll take a look at it here. Actually, that was Kaysen Robertson, and then a host of defenders coming in there, including Deshaun Owens, and I think it might go on Joe Victor for that little pushback right there. That's probably what's going to happen. So mark it up 15. It was a loss of 5, so it would have been third down and about 15. Loss of 10. So that almost will give them the first down. What would have been third down and 15 gives them now a first down and 10 after the personal foul. So the furthest that Parma has been so far in this game, their first drive did not go very far. They ended up trying to punt, but the punter went down on her knee. Here's a pitch in the near side of Durham. He's got some room. He's up over the 45, trying to fight his way to the 40. Still on his feet, still pushing Arthur Redmond, and that's more than enough for a first down as he'll finally get down to the 35-yard line as he rips off an 18-yard run. Nice job there by Bryson Durham.
Yeah, and Durham again. We haven't heard much of Durham so far this year, but yeah, he's a guy who runs hard. I'm sure he's going to get a lot more handoffs.
The first time that Parma has been into John Marshall territory. We're under 4 minutes to go here in the first quarter. John Marshall threatened to score on their last offensive drive before a fumble inside the 10. Parma looking to get the first score of the game. Lyon on the straight quarterback keeper. He's got the corner. He's inside the 25 before he gets wrestled out of bounds there by Nick Studdard, the senior free safety for the Lawyers. And they're going to give him another first down. So, again, Parma just running the football, Tim, and just running it at will.
And they're being able to run really to the near side, to the left side behind John Todd for the most part. Let's see if they try to go over to the right side of the line here and see if they can just switch up the area of where they run the football. It's been primarily to the left side.
And they're going to hand off straight up the middle as Liv Dorr, and he busts that one almost towards a first down. What would have been 3 straight plays resulting in a first down for Parma. And they'll mark him about a yard short, so 2nd and 1. Wouldn't be surprised here, Tim, with the nose of the football in the 15 and maybe see Lyon open up for a pass here, but you see a nice run by Liv Dorr straight up the gut. And they're actually going to move Big John Todd over to play a tight end position. Tight end on the near side is ineligible. They're going to run right that way with Liv Dorr again. He gets upended, and we've got a flag on the play. It's in that area of holding. It's right at the line of scrimmage, as it would be a first down as it stands. They are talking to one of the captains, John Todd. He might have been the culprit. We'll get the call. It is holding against Parma. So back it up 10. Take a look here. And again, you see Todd on the right-hand side. Yeah, he's so strong that you know, sometimes he can just throw around some of these smaller defensive ends, as it was Devin Ellis, who's 177 pounds, going up against 290-pound John Todd. So Todd sometimes can throw some of these guys around, but he has to realize that's a hold if you grab inside and twist them around like that. Yeah, so it'll be 2nd down and 8. I always thought holding was a 10-yard penalty.
Well, it was at the spot of the foul, which must have occurred a couple yards beyond the first down marker.
Could have been the case. 2nd and 8, and we're going to get a false start, and that's going to go on Parma. So 2 straight penalties against the Redmen. Tim, this drive was so promising. They were just running the ball at will, but now 2 straight penalties, and Parma's really shot themselves in the foot. It's going to be 2nd down and 13.
2:14 left to go here.
Redmond waited a little too much last week versus North Royalton, Tim. They had 2 touchdowns late in the 4th quarter, but it wasn't enough to come back. So hopefully the Redmen, they kind of have that sense of urgency this week to get some points here in the 1st quarter. Lions going to drop back. It's unabated pressure. He's going to elude it, throw over the middle, and it's going to be knocked down incomplete as he was trying to get that one to Colin Layden, but a nice job by John Marshall, as I believe that was John Artino, one of the other safeties that stepped up. Coming in unabated was Devin Ellis. It was a nice job by Lyon to step up. He tried to get it to Layden, but Ellis timed that jump almost perfect, or excuse me, Artino timed that jump almost perfectly, Tim, and knocked it away. So Parma in a lot of trouble now, 3rd down and 13. Once again, that no-huddle offense. They'll have 2 receivers to the near side, Magda and Rivera inside of him, 2 bunched before they send D'Onofrio in motion. Lions going to roll that way. He's looking for D'Onofrio. Almost got picked off as Andre Starks stepped right in front of that one. And Starks is kicking himself, Tim, because he knows he should have had an INT.
Yeah, well, not only an INT, if he stays on his feet, he might have taken that one all the way back. I mean, that was one where the field was wide open ahead of him, but just was unable to come up with it.
And we're going to take a break. Injured player on the field. You are watching high school football on Parma Area Community Television. Welcome back to Parma Area Community Television here at Byers Field, Robert Bolton Stadium in Parma. The Redmen taking on the John Marshall Lawyers, Matt Fontana, Tim O'Brien. And the injured Parma player, Tim, off to the sidelines. And again, we've already seen a few battles with just legs cramping up here in the heat. And I think we've got another one for the Parma Redmen. They're on 4th down and 13. Lions going to drop back. He's going to air it to the left and caught for the touchdown, as that's Colin Layden got beat the defender, I should say, as trying to pick that one off was Kaysen Robertson, Tim, and I think he tried to go for the pick instead of just knocking it down, and then allowed Colin Layden to get behind him for the touchdown, and our first points of the game going to Parma.
Well, a 4th down play here, and John Marshall thinks that they've been doing everything they needed to do on this drive. They had them right where they wanted. And then Parma throws the touchdown pass. Good job by Kyle Lyon, and a terrific job there of going up and making the catch there by the receiver, who was Colin Layden.
Podlinski's extra point is up and good, so a full 7-point lead for Parma. And what a swing, Tim, for the last couple of drives, as it looked like John Marshall was ready to go in and score. Parma gets the turnover, drives down the field. It's 4th and 13, and Lyon connects with Layden for this touchdown. I mean, really a huge swing in momentum.
Right, and then you also think of on that drive, the 2 penalties, the 2 big penalties. Yeah. Once Parma got into the red zone, it looked like John Marshall was going to have a little bit of the momentum. And then before you know it, Parma takes it right back. Good touchdown pass there from Lyon.
So 98 seconds to go here in the 1st quarter. And Parma, again, jumping out to that touchdown that we were talking about in the 1st quarter. They were shut out in the 1st quarter, their last game out versus North Royalton. And they tried to score late, Tim. So, again, it's nice for Parma to get out, get a touchdown drive in the works. get out to this lead.
We'll get the offense moving a little bit, Matt. You mentioned how well they finished against North Royalton, which is important. The most important quarter is the fourth.
And a pooch punt. The ball is loose, and Parma's got it. I believe Podlinski. Yep, it is Parma football. Podlinski did a little pooch punt. Two of the Marshall players collided going for it. Neither one of them caught the ball. And I believe that was Andrew Shields, the sophomore wideout, on kick coverage that got it. Let's watch this again. You see the two Marshall players collide there. Neither one of them able to get a hold of it. And there's an awful lot of gray jerseys down there, Tim. And Parma able to recover. Nice play for the Redmen.
Yeah, how about that? It's also Bryson Durham might have actually been the guy who fell on that, Matt, as he was over there in kick coverage. There you go. You put your running back out there, the hands team, and he's able to fall on it.
So 1st and 10 already in John Marshall territory are the Redmen. Line with that I formation. Durham, who got a lot of carries, is going to fumble the football, and now John Marshall gets it back. There is a flag on the far side. It was picked up by Kaysen Robertson. We're going to have to check the flag outside of an offsides. It's going to be John Marshall football. It's going to be a legal motion on Parma, so it will be John Marshall football. And again, I think Durham was looking up, Tim, where he was going to run before he fully had commitment out of that football.
Sometimes the handoff is one of the harder things to do in football. How many times do you see throughout the course of a game something happen between the quarterback-running back exchange?
So again, another big swing of momentum thanks to a turnover. This time it goes the way of John Marshall, so they'll take over their own 44. Stuttered under center. He's just going to quarterback sneak this one. Almost looked like they were rushing Tim, so they didn't get a review on that one. But, of course, there's no review in high school. We've got another flag on the play. By my count, Tim, that's got to be at least the 6th penalty marker that we've seen here in the first half of both teams.
We're trying to get a football play in, and then the refs are having objections, and they're just throwing the flags in there. As
face mask.
Right, there's just penalty after penalty.
Take a look at it here. Stuttered. That's hard, Tim, because he's pushing forward here. He's pushing. My question is, how can you see anything around a face mask in that situation? There's so many kids around. I couldn't see Stuttered's face mask. But the referees are on the field for a reason, not up here. So they're going to mark it off 10-yard penalty. All face mask 10 yards. So they move it up to the 34-yard line. It's going to be 36. 1st and 10, Stuttered under center, and again they're going to pitch it way left, and it's out of the reach of Starks. He's going to pick it up and try to reverse field, but he's going to get taken down for a huge loss all the way back to the 46-yard line of John Marshall. And Tim, that's a 17-yard negative play for John Marshall as Alex Daniels got the play for Parma. Just never got the pitch way out in front of him. That was really on Stuttered more than anything.
Well, Stark's a guy who is very, very dynamic coming in off the bench. 2 touchdowns, 224 rushing yards so far on the year. And he was itching to get his hands on that one, but the pitch was way out of his reach.
Give him an 18-yard loss, so 2nd and 28. Stuttered going to roll. He's going to throw for his first pass attempt, and it's just off the hands of Jerome Bryant. There was some contact. I'll say good coverage on the play, as I believe that was Colin Layden. Take a look at it here. You see Jerome, bottom of the screen. He's just going to run a deep over route. It was a good pass there from Stuttered. Just a little bit of contact there, but no flag. So 3rd down and 28. Clock stopped at 16 seconds to go here in quarter number 1. Be wary of a screenplay here from John Marshall with so many yards that they have to gain. Again, the deep man is Andre Starks. Stuttered under center. They're going to send Derek Dumas in motion, and Stuttered's just going to keep it. He's going to go nowhere. He got lit up almost immediately, as I believe that was Granada, the middle linebacker, and also Sebastian Spear. They were not faked out at all. And that should do it for the first quarter of action. A couple of turnovers help the Parma Redmen get on the board. They lead this one 7-0 here on Parma Area Community Television. And welcome back here to Parma Area Community Television. 7-0 the Parma Redmen on top after 1 quarter. Matt Fontana, Tim O'Brien alongside. John Marshall with a 4th and 28. They are in punt formation as the deep man will be the touchdown man, Colin Layden. He's going to stand at his own 27-yard line. Studdard, the quarterback, also the punter. He'll take the snap, and he'll right foot this one. Going to be a short punt. It'll hit at the 30 out of bounds, near the 28, 27. And referee going to mark it, yep, right in between the 20, yep. He'll mark it right at the 29-yard line. So decent starting field position for the Parma Redmen.
All things considered, not too bad of a punt there either for John Marshall. I mean, a team having to go 71 yards is still the full field in front of them. So if you're the lawyers here, you want to try to, cramp down defensively. How many times is Parma going to pick up a 4th and 13 for a touchdown? The defense has to continue to play it like they have been.
Really got to stop the run, too, because Parma was just running at will there in that first quarter, showing blitz of the John Marshall Lawyers. They're going to hand off to the jet sweep. Here comes Nicholas Lord. He'll break 1 tackle. He's out to the 40 near a first down, but there's a flag on the play. It's in that area of holding, and referee's pointing this one out. Yep. John Marshall celebrating like it's going to be against Parma.
That could have been holding in the backfield. It's actually black in the back. It's going to be the call. Yeah. But when that first, let's take a look at it here. Watch right here when the defender gets tackled.
Yeah.
That could have been holding right there, and then we'll see the block in the back. Yep.
Call Tim. Eagle-Eye Tim O'Brien didn't miss a single. There could have been 3 penalties, really. There could have been 2 holding calls on the backfield and 1 block in the back. But nonetheless, they'll mark it back for what will be first down and 17 on the 10-yard penalty. 2 receivers off to the left. They'll hand off up the middle. And breaking through, I believe, was Lord again. That was 21, DiDonato on the carry. So Anthony DiDonato, he had a touchdown last week, the junior, 5'8", 200-pound running back. And again, you see Tim Parma really opening up big holes. They have a big size advantage on that offensive line, and they're exploiting it right now.
And if it's not broke, why try to fix it?
Exactly.
Just keep running the football here, Matt.
14-yard gain there on first down for DiDonato. It'll be 2nd down and 3. Dropping back his line. He's going to look deep. He's looking for Lighton, and again, short, and he can't come up with it. The pass was short. On coverage was Starks. Also, the linebacker, Tashawn Durham, was back there in coverage, and really, Lighton did everything he could, Tim, to come back for this football. Lion just put a little bit too much air on it.
Layden, I tell you what, that was almost a perfect pass to Layden, who kind of stopped. You saw it just avoid the first defender's hand and almost fell right into Layden's, really his breadbasket there. But what the thing was, Matt, that was so troubling about that was I think he saw the defender go up and it shielded him. That's one of the toughest things to do, is try to find the football and catch it in a split second.
Stop me if you've heard this. We had a flag on the play, and it was holding on Parma, so mark it back, 2nd down and 14. My gosh, a lot of penalties in this game. 7-0 the score. Parma with the ball. 2nd and 14. Lions going to escape 1 defender. He's just going to keep doing. He's got room. He's up over the 35. He'll get tripped up near the 40. A nice job by Kyle Lyon. He evaded Devin Ellis, who came in on the rush. And then he's able to pick up enough for the first down, or at least near the first down. I think that's got to be a first down. Nice run there by the junior quarterback. And they're going to give him the first down on a 14-yard scamper. You see Ellis, who's gotten pressure all night. He just can't break down. And then you see Lyon make 1 defender miss there. And a nice open field tackle by Studdard, but a nice run there for Kyle Lyon for the first down.
Overall, good job by Studdard, making him cut back towards the hash mark, because that's where the defense can come over to help you.
And lower in the boom on that one, lower in the shoulder, was Vinny Livdar, as 4 different players for Parma have already carried the football. Livdar, DiDonato, Kyle Lyon, and also Nicholas Lord.
Liv Doer had a big second half last week, and so did Nick Lord. So they really do a good job of mixing up the carries.
Speaking of Nick Lord, he's going to try to spin out of, that is Liv Doer with another carry. He should get the first down. It was only second and a long one. He picked up about 3 in John Marshall territory, and on the stop for the Lawyers was Sean Owens. That is another first down for Parma. And again, you see Parma, they're continuing to substitute players, as coming into the game was Spear. Also, I saw DiDonato run in there as well. Double tight end set here for Parma. And they're going to hand off up the middle. Not much running there for the Redmen. Still on his feet. Did not catch a number who was on the carry there for Parma, as that was DiDonato on the carry. He picked up maybe a yard, Tim. He really ran in to a lot of Lawyers they were just standing at that defensive line. Not a good push on that play from Parma.
Now, again, I mean, John Marshall, that's where they're going to have to try to stick in this game. If they can somehow not stop the run game, Matt, but slow it down enough where they can cause Kyle Lyon to try to go to the air and then hopefully make a couple of those passes incomplete. They'll have a chance on offense to try to put some points on the board.
DiDonato on the carry gets him a little closer. It'll be 3rd down and 4. Nick Lord checks back into the game. He's joined by Griffin Magda. As we approach 8:30 to go here in the first half, Matt Fontana, Tim O'Brien alongside the Redmen with a first quarter touchdown on a pass from Kyle Lyon to Colin Layden. Our only points of the game thus far. You need to get to the 38-yard line. Snap the line. He'll keep it himself on the outside, but he's going to get wrapped up and taken down. Kaysen Robertson, normally the outside linebacker, almost playing a safety position there, blitzed and read that play. Lyon kind of tried to counter fake, but he just ran right into the arms of Robertson, and here comes the punt unit for Parma.
Well, again, John Marshall there did just enough to stop the run, to squander the run. Yeah, Parma had a good series running the football that whole drive, but then all of a sudden they were able to stiffen up a little bit and they're able to stop the run and force a punt. Good job by the Warriors.
That's a short punt from Pudlinski. It's going to bounce to the 25. It'll roll inside the 24 and be down there by the Redmen. So John Marshall, again, very penalized on that drive was Parma, and they kind of use it to their advantage. At the end of the day, Tim, they got the stop they needed to. And those penalties, they derail a drive a little bit. I understand Parma overcame some of them and got a first down, but you're just making things harder on yourself.
Right. I mean, you talk about the fatigue, and it works both ways offensively.
Sure.
If you have to keep running plays, Matt, you're going to eventually get tired if, you have a drive where you have 8 plays, but 4 of them are called back. Now all of a sudden it's a 12-play drive.
Just extra yards you don't have to gain. So Nick Studdard, senior quarterback, is under center. And he'll fake off on the counter with Andre Starks. Starks with a good gain for about 7 yards. Wrapped up on the play by Nicholas Lord.
I think if you're the Warriors, you got to keep giving it to number 11. Starks, again, he's the guy who's the most elusive. He's the leading rusher for the team. Again, over 200 yards. In fact, on the year, his total number of yards, 224 with 2 rushing touchdowns. So that's pretty good here in week 3. That's over 100 yards, actually 112-yard average per week.
And give him a 6-yard gain, so 2nd down and 4. And we'll hand off to the right side to Starks, but the ball gets out. It's knocked out by Spear. It's going to be picked up and taken into the end zone for a touchdown by Josh Whitus, the senior defensive back. But it was Sebastian Spear who knocked that football out. And Parma gets a defensive score. They're an extra point away from going up 14-0.
Well, how about this? We just talked about that exchange earlier, but that had nothing to do with the exchange. That was a good exchange. Who knocked it out there was Sebastian Spear, sticking his hand in there, and the recipient of the scoop and score was Josh Whitus. So a couple of captains, Spear and Whitus, doing their thing for Parma, and they get a scoop and score, and just like that, it's 13-0.
Podlinski in for the extra point. It is up, and it is good. So a 14-0 lead for Parma. And again, one of the senior captains on this team, Sebastian Spear, making a big play. But you mentioned it, Tim. The handoff was actually decent. We'll take another look at it here as Starks has it, but he puts that left hand out to try to stiff arm. And when that happens, it didn't seem like he had a real great, you see him there at the bottom of the screen, he's pretty dejected, but I don't think he had a real great grasp on it with that right hand.
He didn't, and then you talk about a big play. We were saying that almost for John Marshall. Hey, you're just one play out of it. You're down 7-0. Now, if you're John Marshall, you got to go down, and you feel like on this drive before the half, you'd like to put some points on the board.
Well, don't forget, too, Parma's going to kick off. Podlinski did a short pooch the last time they kicked off after their touchdown, and John Marshall couldn't field it. And Parma took over, and you could see the lawyers, they're starting to creep a little bit towards the near side. That would be the side that Podlinski kicked the last time off to his right. And you see the guys here on the near side, James Graham up front. Also, Tyrese Buchanan, they're ready for this, and they'll do it again. It's back. Graham has got it, and he gets leveled on the play. As Andrew Shields, he actually hit one of the up men. D. Donato was in on the stop. He had a few extra words there for Case and Robertson before they separate and go their opposite ways. But again, this little pooch kick here from Podlinski, this time looked like John Marshall a little bit better prepared for it.
Yeah, a good job there of really just kind of dropping back and fielding that with your hands. That was the last time you had that collision, but they let the ball come to their pads, Matt. When it comes to your pads, you know just as well as anyone, you have to catch the football with your hands.
Yeah.
It sounds simple, but it's one of the things that it's natural to just kind of try to let it land in your pads and put your hands around it, but get it out there, and a good job there of kick coverage.
So 1st and 10 is a late sub in for Parma. They only had 10 on the field. Now it's 11. And they're going to hand off. Nope, they're going to keep it. Studdard's going to drop back. He's going to throw. He's got a man wide open, but incomplete. It's going to be a penalty as Jerome Bryant was wide open. Beaten on the coverage was Nicholas Lord, and Lord had no option but to just run right into Bryant. That is clearly going to be pass interference. And it's going to be a first down for John Marshall.
Well, 15 yards for the Lawyers expected to come up here. Is you see, this was actually very well designed. You thought, okay, it's going to be a run. Then you thought, okay, it's going to be a keeper. It was neither of those. It was actually a pretty nice pass. And, again, pass interference here on the Redmen.
All Lord had to do was look for the ball. I think he thought he was beaten worse than he was because he's so quick. He was able to make up that ground, but all he had to do was turn the head. It wouldn't have been a penalty, but nonetheless, another big penalty here in this game. 1st and 10, and they're going to hand off to the up man who gets just swallowed up. I believe that was Tershawn Durman, the fullback, and he tried to cut left, ended up going right, and there was nowhere to go. A host of Redmond. Granada was in there. You see him, Durham, get the carry. Getting a hand on there with Spear, and then he tried to go right and just got swallowed up. Also in there was Troy Duzman.
Well, that there, Matt, if that play was designed to go to the other side, you sit there, and Nick Studdard, the quarterback, was almost like he was shielding his running back on the handoff. Just confusion all over the place, I think, of which side of the formation that ball was supposed to be ran to. Either way, Parma did a good job of getting in the backfield, disrupting it, and really causing a loss of yardage.
Give them a loss at 2 as we're under 6 minutes to go here in the second quarter. A little confusion there from Parma. They finally get set, and we got a timeout. I believe it's going to go the way the Lawyers of John Marshall. It will. We'll take it with them. Parma up 14-0 here in the second quarter. You're watching Parma Area Community Television. Welcome back to Parma Area Community Television. Matt Fontana, Tim O'Brien, 2nd down and 12 for the Lawyers. John Marshall, they're going to flip this one out to Starks, but he can't hold on to it. They're going to say incomplete pass as Starks motioned out of the backfield. They ran a little swing pass there, Tim, and Studdard was a good pass, but I think Starks was just looking up the field a little bit too early. Could have gone either way. We'll take a look at it. That's tough. That might have been a backwards pass, I think.
No, I think it was lateral.
Okay.
And, I mean, not only that, it was possessed maybe for a little bit. It's hard to see with the receivers back to you. But the thing was, there was pressure coming on the blind side there, but there was still time for Studdard to set himself before he threw that. You like to see that happen.
And again, a tough pitch. This time, Kaysen Robertson on the carry. He's going to get back to the original line of scrimmage on a pickup of 4, but Robertson almost fumbled that one. That was a pitch, sweep kind of pitch there from Studdard, and Robertson had to do everything he could to hold on to. Watch this one. Oh. Okay, now he's got it. Now he can start running. By then, host of Redmond able to get over there and on the stop. Initially, they're led there by Santana King. So 4th down and 10 in punt formation is Studdard. He's inside his own 44. As it looks like Layden off to our left to receive this one. Studdard with a better punt this time. It's going to land inside the 20. And you could see Colin Layden kind of jumping up saying, just give me a shot. I want to return one here, but it's going to go out right at the 20-yard line. So that's where the Redmond offense will take over. And Tim, recently, Parma, they've really been hitting on all cylinders. Obviously, the defense had the last touchdown, but that last drive up until them getting stopped on 3 straight downs and having to punt, they were really running the ball well. It was just the penalties that did them in.
Well, that's really been the story for the entire first half on offense for the Redmond. And I'm sure that's going to be something that Coach Saban's going to want to kind of tighten up a little bit in the locker room at halftime.
1st and 10, Lyon going to keep it himself right up the middle. And he'll only pick up about 2 or 3 yards. Joe Victor in on the stop. Turning out to be a really beautiful night here at Byers Field. It's American Flag Night here put on by the Parma Redmond. Obviously today's September 10th. Tomorrow, Remembrance Day of 9/11. So they're going to do American Flag Night here tonight. All the students waving American flags, dressed in American flag apparel. 2nd down and 7. We're inside 4:15 now to go here. And they hand off to DiDonato. He's got a little bit of room, but it gets swallowed up almost immediately. He only picks up about 2 or 3 yards. That was a nice job by Studdard on that play, just to kind of string that out. And DiDonato only picks up a few, what could have been a lot. You see Studdard there just kind of sitting outside. And as a blocker out there, Anthony Menace just kind of stood there. You can't do that because then you're allowing the defender to make the play instead of yourself. 3rd down and 4 for the Redmond. In the shotgun, Lyon's going to take the snap. He's going to look left on the slant and caught in stride. Breaking out of a tackle there is Louis D'Onofrio. He takes it inside the 44-yard line as almost a 30-yard gain there for Parma. That's more than enough for a 1st down. Parma keeps on marching. Nice little slant route here from D'Onofrio.
Perfect pass, too, by Kyle Lyon. Hit him right between the numbers there, and D'Onofrio shook off one, and too bad he didn't shake it off a tad sooner. He might have been gone down the sideline.
3:23 to go. Parma hopefully trying to use some of this clock up also, Tim, as they're going to hand off on a counter, and it gets blown up in the backfield. Kaysen Robertson, we've called his name a few times. He read that one instantly, and Bryson Durham had nowhere to go.
Nowhere to go, and then you got to almost think run first for both of these two schools. If you're on defense, it's hard to pin your ears back and go, but especially on the early downs, Matt, we've seen a steady diet of running the football. Maybe the coaches at halftime will try to kind of think that strategy a bit.
Lyon going to go near side for D'Onofrio. Fight for the football, and it's incomplete. Good coverage there from the junior cornerback, Derek Dumas. And a really fight for the football. Again, a little underthrown there by Lyon on the deep ball.
A touch underthrown, but he puts it in a spot where, you know, it's a dangerous pass because the defender actually started to play the receiver. I think D'Onofrio actually might have got a hand in there, as on the coverage was Derek Dumas, and Dumas, the junior, just 5'6".
3rd down and 11, a throw out to the far side, incomplete. It skipped as his intended receiver, I believe, was Magda, and he kind of fell down. It was a bit of a short pass again from Lyon. We'll take a look at it here. It was a one read. They ran again that little over slant, And, yeah, Lyon just didn't get it there. So 4th down and 11. Here comes the punt unit for Parma. Again, Tim, a big play, but Parma just can't seem to get a couple plays strung together. And they're going to be forced to punt. As John Marshall coming after it, but Podlinski gets it off. A fair catch called for and going to be made by Quentin Williams. And he called for the fair catch, Tim, and he wanted to run with it, actually, on the bounce. But once you put that hand in the air, as soon as you touch the ball, that's where it's downed.
Yeah, and, you know, that's the other thing, though, too, is if you call fair catch, get up there and catch it. Don't let it bounce. Yeah. And that's where the confusion comes in. But, you know, it almost hit a Redmond there, though, too. So, I mean, it's
would have been down there by contact.
Right. It was tricky. I mean, that's one of the, you talk about a tough thing to do in football, fielding a punt is right up there.
So 2:30 to go for John Marshall. They're at their own 12-yard line, so they're going to have to go 78 yards to try to cut into this 14-0 lead for Parma. They do have 2 timeouts to work with. But Studdard really hasn't put the ball in the air too often, Tim. As we got a stoppage in play, the assistant coaches, Coach Sear, out there to talk to the referees. I think he's kind of questioning the same thing, Tim, about advancing that punt when he fair caught it. But both parties ahead of their respective locations. So 1st and 10 from the 17, excuse me. We'll have to go 73. Quick handoff, trying to cut his way to the outside there was Martino Andrews, and he does not pick up very much. Check that. Actually, that was Tyshawn Derman, the fullback. He only picked up about a yard. Clock will run now on the Lawyers.
Good job again by Parma. The first guy gets there, and then a couple other gray jerseys right there to help out. So really swarming to the football. Parma has been able to do quite well. John Marshall hasn't had enough threat through the air to really not have Parma pin their ears back and look for the run.
And straight quarterback keep here for Studdard, and he's going to pick up next to nothing, maybe 2 yards if that. And Parma will use a timeout to save some of that clock with 1:45 to go here. Now just 1 timeout left for Parma, but if they can get a stop here, Tim, on 3rd down and what will be probably a long 6, they might be able to get the ball back and try to extend their lead.
Well, and not only that, field position, Matt. That's the tough thing too. That field position. If you're John Marshall, you'd love to get close to a 1st down and then have a decision on 4th down, or even have a chance really to kind of boot it away and go from there. So you talk about just things in general, Matt. The NFL kicks off tonight as well.
Yeah.
You know.
Football is back. College football, Ohio State's ready to go.
And then now
local colleges.
The Patriots and the Steelers tonight. Yeah. So NFL is back. Now people can officially say it's football season.
It is football season.
Browns play on Sunday. So it should be a nice little week here with some NFL action.
My biggest thing to tell when football is back is the weather. Starting a little chillier here tonight at Byers Field. It's starting to get a little chill towards the evening hours, so that's what tells me that football is back.
My indication is the chip dip that I make, and I consume way too much of it around this time of year when I'm sitting there watching football.
You do make a good buffalo chicken dip. I will give you that. It is 3rd down and 5.
Maybe next week.
Maybe next week.
I'll bring it up here.
Packed crew. So we'll have the Battle of Parma next week, Parma in Normandy. 3rd down and 5. Dropping back is Studdard. He's just going to let this one fly over the middle, and it's going to be picked off. As reading that one's Nicholas Lord. He's going to return it to the near side, gets a block. There's a penalty marker on the field. He'll cut inside the 10, 50 footwork into the end zone. Touchdown, Parma. Nicholas Lord with the 46-yard pick 6. There is a flag on the play. If it's against John Marshall, we will have our 2nd defensive touchdown for the Redmen in this game. Referees are going to confer. Still no indication. Coach Sear out there talking to the officials. He doesn't look happy.
Usually, like when it's like that, it's a block in the back.
Too many men on the field, going to be declined. touchdown, Parma. Oh, we've got offsetting penalties, holding. So it should be a replay of down if I'm not mistaken. You're going to see Studdard here. He gets hit as he threw. Lord did a great job of picking that one off at the 45, excuse me, not the 46. They're just going to give Parma the ball at the spot of the no, not the spot of the interception.
Well, yeah, it was the interception. It was then the spot of the penalty.
Okay.
You mark it back X amount of yards. So
a legal substitution, and then I did not get the call on Parma. It might have been holding offset. So here's Lyon on first down. Nice little out route. Nice catch on the sideline by Magda. Tim, that makes sense if it was a hold or a block in the back during the return of the interception.
Right. And then what the thing was, too many men on the field happened before the snap.
Yeah.
Therefore,
that is declined.
Parma declined that one. And
so
then
they get the interception.
The penalty was accepted, obviously, by John Marshall to keep him out of the end zone.
Glad you got all that. Dropped it. I was a little lost. First down and 10 for Lyon. He's going to step up and he's going to go down in the sack. Devin Ellis was in there, as well as another Lawyer defender. That was Kevin Kelly on the half sack each. Now Ellis is down, and that's actually going to help out Parma. They're going to stop the clock as Ellis is in some difficulty. So while they tend to him, we'll take a break. 14-0 Parma Redmond on top of the John Marshall Lawyers. You're watching Parma Area Community Television. Welcome back to Parma Area Community Television. Matt Fontana, Tim O'Brien alongside as Devin Ellis, the sophomore outside linebacker for James Madison, taken off the field. Certainly thoughts and prayers head out to Devin. Speed recovery, and hope he can get back to action very soon. Second down and 14 for the Parma Redmond after that loss. Lyon in the shotgun. He's going to drop back to pass. He's going to look right. He's going to fire deep down the field looking for Lyon again. It's picked off as it was popped up in the air. Nick Studdard's got it for the Lawyers, and he's got a lot of open field. He's going to turn back now inside the 30 to the 40 to midfield before he's run out of bounds. And there's going to be a flag for a block in the back. It's back at the 34-yard line. So this one is going to come back to him. But, again, threw into almost triple coverage as Layden really had no chance to get that one. The ball popped up and then picked off there by the Lawyers.
Well, you know, Lyon, when he throws this ball down there, there's only one gray jersey. I mean, sometimes you got to go to your check down.
Coverage.
You got to go down. Sometimes you got to go to your check down guy, even if it's only going to be a 2 to 3 yard gain. You have to be smarter with the football than that. Kyle, he's made great decisions all night. That one there was not one of his best, though.
And again, Lyon seems to be his favorite go-to player, but sometimes you can't force it like that. So I did not. The referees are standing near midfield right now.
Well, you see all that extracurricular activity after the play.
Yeah.
I wonder if there was a personal foul.
You know what?
At
There had to have been.
Late hit out of bounds as well.
Because that looks to be offsetting, Tim, because they're going to place it right about where Studdard went out of bounds.
Well, I think they might have just picked the flag up, though, too.
Okay.
So.
Oh, now they're going to give him another 15 yards on the personal foul.
That's what it was. They picked picked up the flag down here at the 34, and there's a late hit out of bounds, which tacks that on.
Yeah. So with 2 timeouts, 48 seconds, ball in the 35, the Lawyers looking to eat into this 14-0 lead. They're going to hand off the right side to Durham, and he gets tripped up. The ball comes out, and they're going to say he was down as Derek Dumas, on the carry. He lost the handle on it, and it was Andrews, Martino Andrews. And again, holding on to the football has been a real issue for John Marshall here tonight.
Yeah.
So the clock continues to run. We're coming up on 20 seconds. They're going to hurry to the line, marking back on a 2-yard loss, second down and 12. They're going to hand off up the middle. This is Andre Starks. He's got some room, I should say. Runs over one of his own players. He's inside the 30 to the 27-yard line near a first down, and I believe John Marshall called one of their timeouts. They had 2. So 11 seconds should be. Okay, now the teams are going to head to their sidelines. As I say, it should have been a timeout with 11 seconds to go.
But you almost have to go to the air here, man.
Yeah.
You've been close on a couple of big pass plays to one-on-one coverage. Let's see if you can try to run one of those and maybe, catch a Redmond nap. And problem with that is you're expecting it here with 11 seconds. So we'll see what exactly will be drawn up in both teams' huddles and kind of going from there.
And again, you could work to that sideline, but with 11 seconds, Tim, and 1 timeout, I would have to think the max is like 3 plays here that you could probably get off. So maybe 1 to the sideline, or maybe just go over the middle, take a timeout, and go for the end zone?
I would say 2.
Okay,
I mean,
2,
3 if you're hustling.
And one of those throws just is going to have to be towards the
I think you got 2
sideline.
plays here. I don't think you throw it into the end zone. I think you try to use the sideline here, maybe an up-and-out route, and then maybe you'll have 2 shots at the end zone.
I formation again, stuttered under center. He's just going to straight quarterback heating up. He's going to roll out. He's still looking down the field. He's going to throw over the middle, just out of the reach of his tight end, James Graham, the junior, as he was running that little over route. And a better throw from Studdard probably would have been a completion, but you ate up 6 seconds off that play, so you only have 5 remaining. Now you pretty much have to go to the end zone. We'll take a look at this one. It looked like a straight keep. He was getting chased out of the pocket by Parma. Again, a better throw. Graham was pretty much wide open.
Yeah, but the other thing is, it's easy to say, a better throw, but you got 2 great jerseys chasing you, or just a pace behind you. That's easier said than done. I mean, Studdard, there's one thing he's been doing, and that's been running all over the place, not by his choice. The Parma front 7 is very talented, and they've been really right now just kind of out muscling John Marshall. So we'll see exactly how the Warriors can kind of come out and have an adjustment in the second half and go from there on that. Maybe change up some blocking schemes and give their quarterback just a little bit more time, and I think that they'll be better off.
So with just 5 seconds to go, John Marshall used their last timeout, so they're going to have to go end zone or bust here to try to cut into this lead, but it could have been a lot worse, Tim. Again, remember, Nicholas Lord had an INT, a pick 6 called back due to a block in the back, and then John Marshall got an interception of their own to turn the tables once again. It's been a game, it's 14-0 Parma, but it's been filled with penalties and turnovers, 2 things that coaches really usually don't like. They're going to spread 3 receivers out to the right. 4th down and 3, 5 seconds. Studdard getting pressure. He's going to roll out. He's just going to chuck this one up, and it's going to be incomplete, almost intercepted. As giving chase on the play was Cody Reith. Studdard just kind of threw that one and just chucked it as far as he could, but it was not far enough. So we head into halftime. The Parma Redmen, thanks to 2 touchdowns, 1 in each quarter, they have a 14-0 lead. Come on back for the halftime show here on Parma Area Community Television. Welcome back to halftime here, the Kicks Office halftime show here on Parma Area Community Television. The Parma Redmen with a 2-touchdown lead over the John Marshall Lawyers. Matt Fontana and Tim O'Brien alongside. And Tim, Parma has to be happy with their 14-0 lead at half, but also they have to feel that this could be easily a 21. With Nick Lord had a pick 6 that could have been 21, but when you look at the penalties, 10 for 80 yards, they have to feel that this lead could be greater.
Oh, it absolutely could be, and I'm sure you talk to head coach Saban, he probably says it should be. I mean, remember, Parma has lost 2 games very closely to start the year.
You see there for John Marshall, real tough. They've not completed a pass yet. Nick Studdard, the senior quarterback, and just 24 on the ground. And again, Tim, when you look at John Marshall, you'd expect Parma to have a bigger lead as well.
Right, some individual stats. Kyle Lyon, just 4 of 8, 56 yards, does have a touchdown and a defensive interception. Colin Layden, the recipient of that touchdown reception, and Josh Whitish, a defensive fumble that he was able to pick up and run in for a touchdown.
Yeah, and that was, again, one of the defensive scores that, again, we thought we'd see another one with Nick Lord's pick 6, but Sebastian Spear causing that fumble. and with Whitus taking it in. Again, Tim, when you think about it, too, offensively, Parma, it seems like they drive to about the 30-yard line for John Marshall, and then they're just able to not really get it done. And that's really been the story of the first half. Let's take a look at some of the highlights from that very first half. Now, Parma was able to get on the board offensively with a beautiful pass from Kyle Lyon to the wide receiver, Colin Layden.
Yeah, Layden, a terrific job. That was on 4th down, too, which was a big play, and that kind of gave Parma the momentum. But then all the penalties kind of, skipped them. You really kind of stalled their drives until the defense stepped up big.
Yeah, they did. Sebastian Spear, the senior captain defensive end, causing the fumble, and then it was picked up and taken in for the touchdown by another captain, another senior captain, Josh Whitus.
And you see Whitus there really, that was an easy scoop and score. Didn't have all that long to go. Good job by Whitus.
So late in that first half, after a lot of penalties, Parma kind of stalled out. John Marshall with the ball threw an interception. Parma on their own 30 trying to get in the end zone to make it a 21-point lead. And this was an interception for John Marshall.
And this was after the pick six that would have given them the 21-0 lead.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden the ball was batted in the air into 4 white jerseys there. And then an interception return, and it was a heck of a return. And really, you had a feeling here if they could have a big-time return that maybe they could score on the interception return. There was a lot of green in front of them, but Parma did a good job of kind of closing, and then you see the late penalty, which gave John Marshall great field position. They just couldn't capitalize.
So Parma has taken the field, as has John Marshall. We'll take our final break of the Kicks Office halftime show coming up in just a second. But a reminder, the halftime show is presented by Kicks Office, office supplies, office furniture, and much more. You can visit www.kiksop.com or give them a call at 440-230-0800.
And by Mapleview Catering and Concessions. It's pretty easy. You party, and we cook. Call 216-524-7178 or email youpartywecook@cox.net.
Second half between the Redmen and the Lawyers coming up next. You're watching Parma Area Community Television. Second half here at Byers Field in Parma, Ohio, about to kick off. Matt Fontana, Tim O'Brien alongside the Parma Redmen. Their home gray uniforms going to kick off to the visiting John Marshall Lawyers. That's going to go way over the returner's head, Derek Dumas, and it's going to come out to the 20. Tim, that's the first time that Richie Pudlinski, the kicker for Parma, has actually really kicked it off. The past 2 times that he's had to after the Parma touchdowns, it's just been those pooch kicks. One of them was fumbled by John Marshall, recovered by Parma. The other one was fielded cleanly by John Marshall. This time Pudlinski put a leg into it and kicked it all the way through the end zone.
Which tells me those first 2 are scripted.
Yeah.
Pudlinski
can get it done, yes.
Right.
So out to the 20-yard line for senior quarterback Nick Studdard. Did not complete a pass in that first half. Did throw 1 interception, though. He'll turn and hand off to Andre Starks, bringing it to the near side.
I would think we'd see a little bit more of number 11 here, Starks. Yeah. For John Marshall. Again, he was the leading rusher coming in. He has the only 2 touchdowns on the year for the Lawyers as well.
Well, he's had a bit of a fumbling problem, as has most of the Lawyer offense here today. Starks and also Martino Adams, who are getting carries in the backfield, they both have had trouble with that quarterback-running back exchange. Under center goes Studdard, 2nd down and 6. He'll turn and hand off to Starks. Is getting leveled was Studdard. He is down and hurt. On the carry was Starks. He takes it near the 1st down. Studdard gets up, but he just got laid out by Sebastian Spear. Watch this hit. 44 just busts through where there was a pulling guard. He almost gets there before the handoff is completed and just buries Studdard. And he took a second to get up, but Nick Studdard, a tough kid, the senior quarterback, it's going to take more to knock him out. He'll head back under center on a short 3rd down and 1. An offset in the backfield. Now they're going to motion Andrews out to the right, and Studdard will keep it, and he will get the first down. He's still on his feet over the 35. And a nice run there from Nick Studdard. This offensive line, Tim, they're not shy on the weight. 310, 215, 240, 362, 295. They're big kids up front, so when you need a yard or two, that's the kind of line that you want.
Well, and the other thing there, Matt, was it was kind of an odd motion, man. It was almost, and I was snoozing watching the motion, man. I'm sure, in some instances Parma was too, and then the quick hitter, the quick QB keeper, and they picked up the first down.
Again, under center, here comes Starks. He almost gets hit in the backfield, but he's bouncing off Parma defenders. He'll pick up about 3 yards, but again, we've been calling his name all night. Sebastian Spear had a hand on Starks in the backfield, but couldn't bring him down. Andre Starks lost his helmet. He will have to come out for one play, and they will check in Martino Andrews. But again, Spear almost had that play wrapped up in the backfield, but a nice 5-yard game. Tim, I got to say, it's only been a few plays, but this is the best that John Marshall's offense has looked all evening.
Right, but it's been primarily running the football. Now, let's see if they can they don't have to throw the ball deep. Every time they've thrown the ball today, it's been a big rollout. Let's see a little bubble screen or something of that sort. Get it into one of your playmakers' hands.
Deep set, but I can't tell if Studdard kept that, Tim, or if he fumbled it.
No, he kept it.
Did he keep it?
It was a straight keeper.
And we've got a scrum at the bottom of the pile as Studdard, who had a few choice words for some Redmen before he gets pulled away by one of his linemen. And you don't see this very often, Tim. I believe Deshaun Owens, who I thought was one of the linemen, he might have actually been in there as a tight end. He comes out of the game. They're going to check Andre Starks back into the game after he lost his helmet. It'll be 3rd down and 3. We're under 9 minutes to play here in the third quarter. Again, that deep eye. Starks is the deep man. 3rd and 3, and almost looked like it. Spear got him in the backfield. He's going to get wrapped up by the rest of the Parma defense. But Tim, John Marshall was offsides again. They false started. No flag from the refs, but it didn't matter because Sebastian Spear blew that play up. It's a loss of 3, 4th down and 6 for the Redmen. The senior captain all over the field tonight.
That's twice now on this drive where Spear was just seemingly unblocked.
Wow. Most of the Parma defense was unblocked. Punt formation for the Lawyers. Studdard's going to stand at his own 30. A very dangerous return man, Colin Layden. A touchdown score for the Redmen is back at his own 35. And there's the flag. I saw a lot of movement. It could be delay a game, but there were still linemen that were almost trying to get set. Yeah, it's got to be false start or illegal motion or something because there were linemen that were moving down the line trying to get set like they didn't have the correct split. So mark it back 5. Ball on the 36. Studdard's going to punt this one from his own 24. A bit of a high snap. He gets it off, and Layden finally is going to get a chance to return one. He's got it at the 35. Studdard steps, and he'll try to get to the corner and get back to the 20, up towards the 36, maybe the 37. As Layden just kind of stutter step trying to make a defender miss, but it was a nice coverage there by John Marshall. So the Lawyers move the ball a little bit, but cannot drive into Parma territory and are forced to punt. It was really good special teams coverage by John Artino, starting safety, and you saw there, Tim, it just seemed like Layden just wanted to kind of shimmy shake his way around it, but by doing that, you're allowing the rest of the coverage team to get down there, and you made the first guy miss, but it's hard to make guys 4, 5, and 6 miss as well. So 1st and 10, first possession for the Parma Redmen here in the second half. The Redmen offense mustering just 7 points on a touchdown pass. And Tim, really, by my recollection, I think they've only been inside John Marshall 20 once tonight. Quick handoff up the middle.
Well, there must have been holding during that return
because they marked it back.
Illegal block is what it was. So I know they marked it back farther there, so another penalty for the Redmen. That's the one thing Coach Saban, I'm sure, when he looks at this game film, and he won't even have to look at it to know the penalties are way too high tonight for the Redmen.
Livdor picked up 6 on that first down play. Here comes 2nd and 4 again with Vinny Livdor, and he'll get the first down. He's up over the 40. Nice little 6-yard run there from Vinny Livdor, the junior running back. Just 5'7", but he runs a lot bigger than that.
Right, Livdor, a guy who's good at going downfield, getting one cut and going north and south, which is what you like to say. Instead of trying to, juke his way and go east and west, he's concerned with one thing: pick up the first yard and then see how many more I can get.
The referees were converging like there was a penalty. I didn't see a flag, and they're not going to make a call here, so it will be a first down for the Redmond offense. We're under 7 minutes to go now here in quarter number 3. Matt Fontana, Tim O'Brien alongside. They're going to motion Layden, and they'll hand off again off to the right side to Livdor, and he's pretty upset because he only gained, I think he actually only got back to the line of scrimmage. It was a great play by Kaysen Robertson. We've called this young man's name several times tonight, the senior, 6'2", 175, and you see there coming from behind, and it was also a nice play up the middle by the big defensive tackle, Joe Victor, 6'2", 290. They give him a yard, though, on forward progress. 2nd and 9. Lion going to head back to the shotgun. And he'll hand off to D'Onofrio up the middle, and he's going to get next to nothing. He got stacked up immediately. It was DiDonato, excuse me. And again, Tim, I think he was lucky to get back to that
watch this.
line of scrimmage.
You said Victor again. Watch this, Matt, how he just fights off a block and basically with one arm reaches out and
you're right.
grabs the ball carrier. Terrific job. You talk about a run stopper right there. Joe Victor just put one arm out and was able to take down the ball carrier fighting off a block.
So it'll be a 3rd down and 9. And again, Tim, this seems to be Parma's MO. They pick up a couple quick first downs, and then it seems to be about the 3rd first down series, they just stall out. And that's the situation we're in right now. Parma picked up 2 quick first downs, and they're calling the trainer out for something. I'm not sure where. The trainer is heading across the field to the James Madison sidelines. They might need some assistance. John Marshall, excuse me. I think that's the 2nd time I've done that tonight.
Well, not bad. I had the over-under set at about 6. So.
All right, I'll try to keep. Well, what did you have? Did you have the over or the under?
I had the over.
All right, I'll keep it on the under then. I'll just keep referring to him as JM. How about that? So 3rd down and 9 for the Redmond offense. Shotgun for Lyon. He's going to drop back. He's going to have to roll right. Kaysen's giving him chasing after him. A completion to Magna. No, they're going to say he was out of bounds as he was trying to tiptoe that line. As actually that was D'Onofrio. As Lyon did a nice job to buy some time. Here comes D'Onofrio. Oh, that's a catch. Oh, no. If you're Parma, they probably got a really good look at that. You see Louis D'Onofrio. He's putting both arms up saying, I had that, sir.
Next year, we're
going to have to offer up our services.
We need a packed monitor down there on the field so the referees can go and look under the hood.
A high snap. It's over the head of Pudlinski. He's going to chase it down. He's going to elude one defender and get a punt off. What a play by Richie Pudlinski. It's going to roll inside the 30 and be down there. What a play by the senior kicker punter to pick that up, elude a defender, and get a bomb of a punt off.
Well, he's also the senior of the soccer team there, Matt.
Yeah,
so I tell you what a good job here. You talk about a punt. That's got to be at least once he gets it away. You're talking about a 50-yard punt or
He's at the 10. He lets it go about the 12, and it rolled inside the 30. So, yeah, you're talking about almost a 60-yard punt. It's at the 28. Wow. Nice play by Richie Pudlinski. Anybody that says kickers aren't athletes, you're wrong.
And the thing about it is, though, too, is he got that man. He could have panicked. What did he do? He just calmly avoided the first rusher and then got his punt away.
So here comes John Marshall, their second possession of the half. A strong run here from Andre Starks. He had a lot of speed. Only picks up about 4 or 5 yards. But again, this John Marshall offense, Tim, mostly led by that junior running back you see right there, Andre Starks. They're starting to do a better job of running the football.
Yes, but sooner or later you got to throw a pass.
Yeah,
because
they're going to start keying on the run. I'm a little shocked that Parma has not started keying on the run a little bit more. The lone receiver for John Marshall will come to the near side, a double tight end, a wing, actually I should say, for the Lawyers, the deep back, and they're going to pitch it to the near side, trying to dance his way for a couple of yards was Kason Robertson, but to no avail. I actually think he lost a yard,
well,
Tim.
I think they're going with the pitch plays now because every time they've tried to hand off on that last drive, the quarterback was pretty much getting tackled as he was handing the ball off, Matt. Just some good penetration by the Redmond defensive front.
So again, a third down here, 3rd and 6, and it seems to be, again, Tim, so many of these teams, we've seen a lot of third downs converted and a lot of third downs missed by both squads. This one's a 3rd and 6. Ball's on the 32. They need to get to the 38 for the Lawyers. Here comes Studdard. He's going to do that rollout again. He's going to fire down the field. We've got our first completion for John Marshall. That went to Jerome Bryan. Tim, that was the same play, and we got a flag on the play. It might go on Nicholas Lord for a late hit. He's still pretty hot. He's got some words from the referee. But, Tim, this was the same play we saw earlier that Bryant and Studdard just missed on. This time, a much better throw, a good catch there from Bryant for the first down. And then it's probably going to be did he say something? He must have said something because that looked like it was pretty clean to me. But tack on another 15. And, again, Tim, you mentioned it, Coach Saban. Another penalty for him to think about tonight.
Right. I mean, that's the only thing I could see there is, there must have been something said that we couldn't hear that, the referee did not like.
Inside 4 minutes to go. Here's the third quarter. Starks with a nice tough run. He's still fighting inside the 35-yard line. Wrestled down on the play. I believe Santana King was in there, along with Granada, the middle linebacker. Again, a nice hard run, lowering that shoulder, dragging defenders behind. Cipocoletti also in on the play. Second down and a long one. It's more like 2 from up here, but nonetheless, short distance here on second down. Studdard will turn and hand off. Dumas trying to get to the outside, and he's going to get wrapped up by most of the Parma defenders. Couldn't see who the first one there was. Santana King was in the area. Spear was over there. I mean, he looked up to him, and he had a wall of gray. Reith was there, Granada, everybody. Here's the initial play, and yep, it was Santana King to get him down low, and then Spear, Duzman, everybody else just stacked him up there for about a 4-yard loss. Nice play by the Parma defensive line.
Now it's still 3rd and manageable here. This
Sure.
might be 4-down territory, too, for John
I would have
Marshall.
to think so. I would agree. We're approaching 2:30 to go here in quarter 3. Or down 2 scores. 3rd and 5. They're going to pitch it to Spart, or he's going to run into his own guy. He's going to try to reverse field, and he'll get stacked up for about a 4-yard loss. Starks had nowhere to go, tried to reverse field, and with a well-trained defense like Parma has, they stayed home. And Andre Starks gives up about another 5 yards. So what was 2nd and 1, 2nd and 2? It's now back to 4th and 10. Runs into his own guy, gets turned back in by Whitus, who had that fumble recovery earlier, and then just a host of Redmond right there to clean him up. I think all 11 players for Parma were in on that play somehow, some way.
Well, might not be a bad decision to try to punt this one away and try to pin Parma deep. Your defense, all things considered, Matt, has not been playing tonight.
Yeah.
Remember, it's 14-0, but Parma's defense scored one of those 2 touchdowns.
Yeah, I think they're going to call a timeout here as John Marshall to think this one over. That'll give us time To remind you, you want to win a brand new car, the Parma City Schools Foundation is selling $10 raffle tickets for a chance to win a 2015 gray Chevy Cruze donated by Serpentini Chevrolet. Every raffle ticket purchase also includes a coupon for $10 off an oil change at Serpentini Chevrolet in Strongsville. The Parma City Schools Foundation was formed in 2013 to provide support to the children of the district. All money raised will be used to provide technology and other academic programs for our students. For more information, visit parmacityschools.org. Great fundraiser there.
Well, Matt,
brand new car.
I saw you down around the entrance earlier buying all your raffle tickets.
I got one.
So maybe your name will get drawn and you'll have that new Chevy Cruze.
I need a new car. My hood or my trunk latch is broken on mine.
Oh, so you need.
So I just got to get a new one now. I mean, there's no turning back from there.
Right, it has nothing to do with anything else.
They're also pulling a 50-50 raffle,
well,
so a lot of money heading to Parma City Schools.
When you're a celebrity in Cleveland, you got to have the big bucks, man.
You can't operate without a trunk latch, I'm telling you. I have to hit the button on my key. It's a giant pain. It's exactly what went through my mind. Not, helping Parma City Schools is a great cause, but the first thing I thought of was my trunk latch. So John Marshall.
I plead the fifth.
They're going to go for it. 4th and 9. Under center is stuttered. I formation. And they're going to try to fake it with a pass, and he's going to get swallowed up. Tim, what Stutter tried to do was fake the QB sneak and then roll out right, possibly for a pass or just to keep it and run. But the Parma defense, Anthony Granata, the senior linebacker, they weren't having any of that. See, he tries to pull back, and it was tried to be a designed quarterback keep to the outside, but Granada got a hand on him, and he wasn't going to go anywhere. So a turnover on downs right about midfield, the 44-yard line for Parma. I got to say, too, Tim, Parma's had pretty good starting field position all night. They've been near or about midfield.
Right, but we still are looking for that one drive where everything clicks for Parma. It hasn't happened. This has been a very good defensive game for John Marshall. It truly has been. I mean, you talk about running the football, and then last week, Lyon was very accurate with his passes. Tonight, they've been broken up for the most part. It's been a tough night offensively.
And you see there a carry from Durham, but the Lawyers, they blitzed. They sent 2 extra guys on the blitz. Parma couldn't pick it up. 2nd down and 8. Durham with another carry. He's going to fight forward into John Marshall territory. It's getting chippy down there as Kaysen Robertson, he got decked a little bit late. Clearing the pile was one of the Parma offensive linemen. Things are getting chippy, but a nice run here by Bryson Durham, who I got to say, Tim, has probably been the most successful runner. Again, between him, DiDonato, and then when we've seen Livdor in there, really the big carries have gone to the junior running back you see right there, Bryson Durham. They're going to need a 3-yard run from him here to get first down if they can. It's 3rd and 3. They're going to give it to Durham, and he'll fight forward for that first down. He's still on his feet. He's inside the 43-yard line, and again, another nice run there by Bryson Durham, knowing where the stick was, knowing what he needed to get, and picking up that first down.
Good job of really good field vision there by Durham. He's able to see the field well and then make smart decisions on where to cut back and where he's going to go after you get through the initial wave of defenders. Terrific job.
I don't believe Parma has to run another play. We're inside 10 seconds to go here in the 3rd quarter, and they're standing around as if they don't have to run another play. And nope, they're going to head to the sideline. So that will do it for 3 quarters in the books here at Byers Field. It is a 14-0 lead for Parma over John Marshall. Come on back to the 4th quarter on this one at Parma Area Community Television. Fourth and final quarter of action here at Byers Field. The Parma Redmen looking to hold on for their first win of this season. First play of the 4th quarter on 1st and 10. I believe that was Durham on the carry. It was. And he picks up a solid 4, maybe give him 5 yards on that carry. 2nd down. I'll give him 4. 2nd down and 6.
Well, if you're Parma here, you just
keep doing what you're doing.
Well, and I don't think you throw a pass in this 4th quarter.
No.
You just keep running the football. You got the 2-touchdown lead. It hasn't been the best night as far as discipline goes with your team. Well over 10 penalties. Had 10 penalties in the first half alone, and just try to grind this one out and get on to next week.
Grinding this run out is Durham again, and he just his feet never stop moving. I love that about him. He's not the biggest kid in the world. He's just 5'10", 180, but his feet never stop moving. He falls forward. He'll pick up about 2 yards. That'll make it 3rd down and a long 4. Checking out is Thomas Snyder. And they're going to check in. That is Anthony Granada, no more as a linebacker, but he's going to play the wing here. So 3rd down and 4. Durham, your deep man. And they're going to run a reverse, as actually Durham's got it with it now on the reverse. He'll fight his way inside the 30. He's got enough for the 1st down. Oh, we've got a really bad flag, and somebody's going to get ejected. There was a punch thrown on the far side. And that's going to be it for Deshaun Owens. He threw a punch. There was a tie-up on the far side of the field. Top of your screen, the ball's going to come to the near side. All the action happened up the top. It was a nice run by Durham to pick up the 1st down. But Deshaun Owens, he just threw his helmet. He's headed to the bench. He's headed out of here, I should say. He's been thrown out. He's been ejected from the game. So they'll sort this one out because I believe there might have been a holding penalty on Parma.
Well, there might have been actually. I think the extra flag that was thrown was because it was too late of a hit. The whistle was blown and no one stopped the pile, and then they ended up tackling the ball carrier.
Yeah.
So there might be 2 personal fouls here. So we'll see how it all shakes out.
Dead ball personal foul on Parma. We've got a dead ball personal foul on John Marshall. That player has then been ejected. So they're offsetting penalties. We should.
I'm assuming he's out for next week then, too.
That's a good question because it did happen in the 2nd half. It's a good question. So I thought they had to replay the down. They're actually just going to take the result of the play because it was a dead ball. So they will take the results of the play after the dead ball personal foul. So the ball is going to be placed right inside the 30-yard line. And the Parma player, whoever it was, has not been ejected, but Deshaun Owens for John Marshall is gone. So clock will run. We're coming up on inside 10:30 to go here. Parma trying to put one more touchdown on the board, possibly put this game away. Donato on the carry. And he'll fight forward. We got another flag. That's going to be another personal foul on John Marshall. As Parma players trying to walk away, there were late hits all over the place, so it's getting awfully chippy down there. It's going to be a personal foul, and it's going to go on the John Marshall Lawyers. So added another 15 yards. Take a look at it here. It was a pretty innocent run by Donato. But, yeah, right there. There's a hit. And then coming back right there against Todd. Can't do that. That would be the flag. And another 15 yards for Parma. So I think, Tim, really whatever John Marshall had a chance, they're kind of giving it away right now to Parma. Here's a run straight up the middle, as I believe that might have been Donato again. Let's check a number on that. See most of the linemen just trying to walk away. Actually, that was Livdor on the carry. Most of the linemen trying to just walk away with their hands up.
Well, I know there's a lot of frustrations, Matt, but you have a guy get kicked out for throwing a punch. Then you come back and have a personal foul for a shove right then and there. It's, you can tell that you have the team on their ropes when they just keep showing their emotion like that and costing their team 15 yards at a time.
Durham inside the 5-yard line. And I think that's so hard, Tim, because, Parma's had a solid game, but John Marshall, too, they're also searching for their first win, and they could have easily been in this game outside of some costly penalties on their side.
Well, I'd make the argument it's only 14-0 in the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
I mean, they're still in
this game. But just the way that they're playing, and, again, if they give up a touchdown here, which it seems like Parma, they've got one thing on their mind right now, and that's putting this ball in the end zone. It's just, the momentum does not feel on John Marshall's side. I formation, they're going to hand off to Durham. They'll fight to about the 2-yard line. And again, eating up that clock. We're under 9 minutes to go. Just 2 timeouts for John Marshall. Parma has all 3 of theirs. It's going to be 4th down and about a yard. They need to get to the 2. They're at the 3. DiDonato's going to go to the fullback position, and Bryson Durham will be the deep man. They fumble the football. I think Durham might have gotten it back, but he's not going to get the first down.
John Marshall ball.
Yeah, it's going to be John Marshall ball either way. Kaysen Robertson, again, we've been calling this young man's name all night, comes up with the fumble recovery, and John Marshall will take over. Another costly turnover, and nobody, I think it was the center quarterback exchange. It didn't look clean from the start. So John Marshall holds.
Again, neither team has really stepped up and finished off an offensive drive today. It's been really defense, and then Parma on 4th down. That was the first touchdown that they scored, Matt. But, I mean, other than that, it's been, a very odd game and a lot for Parma, even if they get this win tonight, to study up on tape moving forward. And same thing it can be said for John Marshall here. Now, if the Lawyers go down and score here in the next 8-19, they'll be right back in it in sorts where they would just need an onside kick.
So under center is Nick Studdard. They're going to hand off to Starks. He's got some room. He's over the 15 to the 20 to the 30. He's going to break it to the outside. Andre Starks trying to turn the afterburners on. He's well into Parma territory before he gets run out of bounds on the play by Andrew Shields. But that's the kind of play that John Marshall needs, Tim, and I'm pretty sure they just doubled their offensive output on one play, this run by Andre Starks.
Well, you see why Starks is the leading rusher on this team. He has some quickness. Got through that first line, broken arm tackle, and then finally it was shoved out of bounds there. That was really the last defender there for the Redmen. Otherwise, he might have been able to take that one the distance.
So they're going to check Starks out. They're going to check in an offensive lineman to play a wing tight end position.
Well, watch the keeper. That's usually that's been the formation that they've gone with and ran with the QB.
Now they're going to call a timeout. That's costly. They only have one left. They're going to have to call a timeout. I don't think they liked their personnel on the field at the time. So it could be a very costly timeout here on a mental error by John Marshall.
Do you like what you see on PAC?
How could you not?
You can catch all of the PAC programming at home anytime. The PAC offers all of our programming now on HD Blu-ray and regular standard definition DVD. Blu-ray discs are $15 and DVDs are only $10. You can order the Blu-ray DVD combo pack for $20 as long as it's the same program. I know Matt does that after every broadcast he's on.
Oh, yeah.
Just hands Dan a $20 out the door, and he makes sure he gets his DVDs mailed to him. To order a copy of anything on DVD, like tonight's contest, visit our website at www.parmacityschools.org/packed and look for your DVD Blu-ray ordering information. And for more information, visit parmacityschools.org/packed or call 440-843-3780.
It's just to prove to people that I work with the legendary Tim O'Brien. People don't believe me very often.
Yeah, you need some proof.
1st and 10 out of the timeout. That, again, remember this time, folks, because that timeout could prove to be very costly for John Marshall. 1st and 10. Pitch is going to come out to Andrews, and he's going to try to really wind his way around. He'll get barely back to the line of scrimmage. Martino Andrews on the carry as he had to go way out of his way to get away from one of the Parma defenders. You'll see it here. It was good pressure and stepping up, just taking a little bit of a bad angle there was Josh Whitus, and that really allowed Andrews to at least get back to the line of scrimmage. They're going to give him a yard. 2nd down and 9, ball placed on the 45-yard line. I think that's generous to give him a yard.
Again, running east and west here for John Marshall. The success they had on that long run, they just went basically off tackle to the right side, try to get back to that and go north and south.
Starks is back into the game. There he is in the slot, number 11. And they're going to look that way to throw. They're going to throw into the flat, and trying to turn upfield before he had the ball was Derek Dumas, the junior running back. Tim, he had some room in the flat. The only problem is he knew it, and he looked up before he caught the football. Wide open.
Job number 1 is secure the football. Job number 2 is then get upfield. So you have to do it in that order, and unfortunate there, just off the hands.
So it's going to be 3rd down and 9. The ball's on the 45. They need to get to the 36. It's got to be 4-down territory here. You got 6:53 to go. You only have 1 timeout. I would venture almost to say if you don't score on this drive, it might be over if you're John Marshall. So they might just try to pick up some yards here and deal with it on 4th down. Double tight end set. They're going to motion Starks out to the right. Watch that little pitch pass. They're going to look for it, and it's going to be almost intercepted as Alex McDaniels, the sophomore defensive backs, and you could see Alex right there. He knew he had a hand on it, almost had 2. He could have had a pick and possibly a pick 6. Parma read that one like a book, Tim.
Well, and good play there by Andre Starks of kind of stepping in between his man and the defender. Yeah. Otherwise, that might have been a big play. But now if you're John Marshall, I mean, you got to go back to the drawing board here. Come up with a play on this 4th and 10. And
they're going to punt?
Oh, well, watch again.
Stuttered is the, yeah.
Could be a fake punt, some trickery here maybe.
Parma's not even going to send a defender back. Colin Layton's kind of backing up, but Coach Sear was screaming, don't even touch it. Good snap, and he will punt it. It's a low liner. It's going to hit out of bounds near the 28-yard line. So that is where Parma will, and again, another pushing match, another penalty flag. Spear was in the middle of it. We'll see who this flag is going to go on. I didn't see it. Could be on anybody.
Yeah, I mean, it could be offense or defense.
Could be offsetting too.
Who knows?
Yeah, there's been so many flags in this game. Dead ball. Unsportsmanlike conduct on the defense, so that'll be 15 yards tacked on. The ball, I believe, bounced out about the 28, so they should get this around.
Total of 18 penalties in the game,
yeah.
13 on Parma, 5 now on John Marshall. But everyone on John Marshall, I can remember, being the 15-yard variety. So
they're going to give it 15 from the spot of the foul, so they're going to take it all the way inside the 48-yard line. Wow. So 6:43 to go here in this one. Parma with another shot to possibly put this game out of reach with a touchdown. Remember, the last drive they got all the way down to the 3 before they fumbled it. Here's a carry up the middle. DiDonato going to bounce his way near a 1st down. Got tackled from behind on the play by Studdard. And again, if you're Parma, stay in bounds. Keep that clock running as we're inside 6.5 minutes to go. Durham's going to check back in, who's been probably, the most successful running back here tonight for Parma. But between Tim, that running back trio, Vinny Livdor, DiDonato, and Bryson Durham, they can keep these guys fresh and just keep rotating them in and just keep pounding the rock. Motion there from Durham. They're going to hand it to Livdor. He'll, I would say, be close to the 1st down. The chain gang's trying to move. The referees, they're going to signal go ahead and move the chains.
Well, the one thing we didn't see that was really a Parma bread and butter so far in the first 2 games was the QB keeper with Kyle Lyon.
Yeah.
It hasn't been necessary today.
No. Offensive line has certainly been doing their job up front for Parma. We talk about the likes of Blake Sikoria, Alex Akovic, John Todd, Gabe Palmentaria. They are doing the work up front, giving a good push, and really it's been no contest on the ground. Again, a nice run there. Durham, he picks up about 3. For Parma, they open up conference play in a brand new conference next week. No more NOC for the 3 Parma schools. They join the likes of Padua, Holy Name.
Well, the other thing is
Rocky River Elyria Catholic.
2 of the 3 teams, though, will be playing St. Ignatius if they haven't already played.
Yeah.
So there's some tough out-of-conference games. So it's kind of a double-edged sword, if you will. Yeah, you get a new conference. It's tough. You got some tough teams, but then you have a lot of tough out-of-conference games.
Another flag on the play. The ball
Was stolen.
It was taken away by Andre Starks as the carry was by Livdor, and Starks just took it. Literally, Tim, he just took it away. So they're going to call it a fumble. Watch this again. Folks, this is such an odd play. Livdor's running with it in his right hand. Right here comes Starks, and just takes it away. So it's going to be John Marshall football, but there were flags, and I think it's going to go against Parma for unsportsmanlike conduct. Parma started backing up like it was on them. I'm not really sure.
There was definitely multiple penalties on the
I saw
play, but
two
I think
flags.
I think it offset, and it'll be John Marshall football.
Should be. They're going to place it at the 33 near where it got taken away. So, again, John Marshall maybe with a chance to get back in this game. They're going to hand off up the middle, and just getting stood up on the plays, Martino Andrews. He went nowhere, Tim, except backwards. And again, that stuttered step just didn't help at all on that play. So second down and a long 12. Again, the Northeast, or it's not the Northeast Ohio Conference. Great Lakes Conference.
Well, you look at the turnovers today. 4 for Parma. All of them have been fumbles. So, I mean, and that's the thing. You lose the 4 fumbles from there.
So second down and 12. We're inside 4 minutes to go. And they're going to hand off to Starks far side. He gets away from 1 defender, 2, but not 3. He's going to do well, Tim, here just to get back to the line of scrimmage, the original line of scrimmage. He'll pick up about 2 because he could have easily gotten eaten up in the backfield for a loss. So it'll be third down and 10. The clock is continuing to roll. And the biggest thing, Tim, is I don't see a lot of effort here from John Marshall to get up to the line and run a play. You know, they're kind of taking their time, and the clock is ticking, and it's going to be against them right now. They only have 1 timeout. They're down 2 scores.
When you're one-dimensional, though, Matt, you know you're going to be running the football, and you're just hoping for a big run to get busted here. And
a keeper here by Stutter, just going to try to spin to the outside, but no doing there. As brought down by the jersey there of Anthony Granata. So the Great Lakes Conference first year, Bay Village, Leary Catholic, Holy Name, Rocky River, of course joining Parma, Valley Forge, and Normandy.
And Holy Name, the natural fit in that conference, being just in Parma Heights, and the Parma City Schools usually play them out of conference anyway, but now, you know, they're in conference. So you don't have a lot of long road trips on that list, but more kind of close quarters.
Team to be favored in that, I got to tell you, is Bay Village. They have a really good quarterback, John Kaz. And a blitz here from Parma, escaping it is Stuttered. He's still going to throw down the field, trying for a one-handed catch. It was John Artino, but it falls incomplete on 4th down, so Parma will take over with just 2:13 to go. Only 1 timeout for John Marshall, and it looks like the Redmen will be able to run this clock out for their first win of the year.
Well, you're going to have to get a couple of first downs here to keep it going. Still over 2 minutes, but with the way the Redmen have been not being able to hang on to the football, I mean, that's been a struggle in its own right.
So again, Parma, a little bit early for the Battle of Parma next week when they take on Normandy. But again, the new conference, new scheduling. So a shotgun here for Kyle Lyon, and he'll hand off to the left side. DiDonato with the carry. And he'll take it down to the 30-yard line, and most importantly, stay in bounds.
Next week, it doesn't get any easier for John Marshall, as Coach Russ Germain will be taking the Lawyers down to Glenville.
Yeah.
So that'll be a potential another trouble game there for the Lawyers.
That Senate League's shaping up to be awfully tough. The likes of Glenville had a tough loss against St. Ed's earlier this year. 2nd down and 6, clock inside a minute 30 now, and you can see Kyle Lyon trying to take every ounce, or every second, I should, to snap this, and he'll hand it off. Not much doing as DiDonato got stacked up for about a half-yard loss, as really John Marshall's sitting on the run now, but it's pretty much a moot point.
Another interesting little nuance about John Marshall's schedule, 7 games on the road, 3 at home. Remember, they're transitioning
getting a new stadium.
Into a new school, a new facility. So that's got to play a factor, too. You're playing the majority of your games on the road this season, and, you know, no matter how you slice it, I don't care what sport you're playing, you like the comforts of home.
Sure.
Man. And only to play 3 games, you know, of what you consider a home game, I'm sure is, again, a little frustrating in front of your home crowd, and, you know, you're always on the road, it seems.
Well, and I saw this, too, as the handoff is going to go to Livedor. He's going to try to cut it up, and he'll be near first down. I saw that they're moving into their new school like September 24th. I go, wow, that's awfully late. But like you said, that just kind of throws a wrench into getting into school, getting into class schedules, getting into the rhythm of going to class and then going to practice. You know, you're right. It's been an uphill battle this year for the John Marshall Lawyers, but they're doing their best to fight through it. Unfortunately, they're going to come up short on the end of this one. Fortunately for Parma, the Redmen are going to pick up their first victory of the season. They improve to 1-2 on the year. They're going to get a 14-0 win over John Marshall here at home at Byers Field. Again, Tim, a solid win for Parma, some things to improve on, but a real nice first win for Parma as they head into conference play.
Yeah, and, you know, no scoring. It was 14-0 at the break, and the second half was scoreless. It was really a defensive game.
So we'll take a quick break. We come back. The post-game show here, the Tri-C Western Campus post-game show. You're watching Parma Area Community Television. And welcome back to the Tri-C Western Campus postgame show here on Parma Area Community Television. The Parma Redmen get their first win of the 2015 season with a 14-0 win over the John Marshall Lawyers. Matt Fontana and Tim O'Brien alongside. And Tim, you have to be happy if you're Parma to get your first win, but there were a lot of mistakes that are easily correctable if you're the Redmen, and I know head coach Bruce Saban is going to address those this week. They enter conference play, but also some things you can be pretty happy about, starting with the running attack.
Well, you can be happy about 234 yards on the ground, but really, Coach Saban's going to say negate 105 of those because of your 14 penalties that you had. So, you know, right there, I would start with penalties this week, and I would end with penalties this week. So the kids realize, hey, we can't be doing a lot of this stuff. It's going to cost us down the line.
Yeah, and again, too, I think this game could have been a lot more extended. Obviously, Parma, they got an interception returned for a touchdown that was cut off, and then they've also had, we'll see in a little bit, they were about to score, and they fumbled the football.
Right. I mean, Parma had all those rushing yards, but their offense produced 7 points, and they came on a 4th down heave, you know, so they didn't even have a rushing touchdown. You take a look at some of the overall stats. Kyle Lyon, average day, 4 out of 9, 56 yards and a touchdown. Layden had the touchdown reception, stuttered, and 1 for 8, just 10 yards. And 26 yards on the ground, and Starks 11 rush for 83 yards, including really that one big run that he had.
That was pretty much it, and that was probably the highlight for John Marshall. But right now, let's look at some of the highlights in this one in the second half. And we mentioned how Parma, in that fourth quarter, Tim, driving to put up another touchdown and possibly go up 21-0 inside the 5-yard line. They fumble the exchange, and it was recovered by John Marshall. John Marshall had one last gasp to head back down the field, but they ended up having to punt it away, and Parma was able to run the clock out from there. So, again, a very lackluster second half for the teams not putting up any points, but Parma, costly mistake there.
Yeah, 4 fumbles all in the second half, and then, or I should say all throughout the game, all recovered by John Marshall. But then also, I mean, right there, that hurt you.
Yeah.
So.
And a crazy play we saw in this second half is Richie Podlinski, the punter and kicker, had one of the craziest punts we've ever seen, Tim. The ball is going to go way over his head, and somehow out of this, he's still able to get a really good punt off.
Well, that's to me, this is the play of the second half. The reason why is not only does he get it, Matt, he boots it about 50-plus yards. I mean, that could have been disaster and set up John Marshall pretty much on the doorstep. What does he do? He boots it all the way down inside the 30-yard line. Heck of an effort. How many times do you see a punt come up in a replay as one of the plays of the game right there? Tremendous job of getting that punt away.
So Parma improves to 1-2 before they head into conference play. Falling to 0-3 is John Marshall. Tri-C Western Campus post-game show presented by Carney & Company Consulting access for businesses, attorneys, marketing, and more. Call 216-236-4969 for more information.
And by Carleone's Restaurant and Bar. Fine Italian cuisine at 5669 Broadview Road in Parma. Call 216-741-0220.
And by Cuyahoga Community College's Western Campus, over 50 years in the community, providing high-quality, affordable education. Visit them at tric.edu to learn more. Parma gets their first win of the season. John Marshall will continue in search of their first of the year. As tonight here at Byers Field, it was a 14-0 win. Parma Redmond over the John Marshall Lawyers. I'm Matt Fontana for Tim O'Brien. Thanks for tuning in.